So welcome everyone, another full week of news and views and stuff that I'm sure makes the hairs on the back of our neck stand up. Where are we going to start today? Let's have a little look. We are going to start with, I think, with a loving father. This is James. You may remember that James featured on the channel the other day. James is part of an organisation that is getting our flags up and flying with pride. Brilliant work by James. James sent me this video that I think you should watch.
This is my daughter, 1 year old today. I also got another daughter and a missus. So before anybody thinks of accusing me of racism, have a look at Iran before 1979. Before Jimmy Carter sold out the Iranian people, right? When you think it can't happen in countries like this, when people say, oh, there'll always be a Great Britain, there'll always be a flag. There won't, there'll only be one if you stand up for it. I'm not trying to cause division. I'm trying to make sure that my daughters...
And it's sad how everyone has to throw in that, oh, I'm not trying to cause division. None of us are trying to cause goddamn division. We're just trying to save what's left of our country.
Have a bright future, that they can wear bright colours, they can listen to music, they don't have to have their hair covered, that they have a voice, that they have a vote. I will not make any apologies for that. Just remember that if us patriots fail in trying to save this country, if this modern day crusade fails, what the left will really have won is Iran. All these, I don't understand how our women can be the most liberal when they look around at everything they lose if we become a state like that, or if we're allowing men in women's bathrooms, in women's sport.
Very true. Wake up, girls.
Difficult to understand. I know it's just not your fault, is it? Because you're infected with the woke mind virus, like Elon Musk says. I suppose like any other virus you might get, you didn't mean to get it, but this is what we're fighting. Please try and have a look and help cure yourselves. I'm doing this for my children and my missus and my mom, because I'm very fortunate that she's still here at 84 and working 4 days a week, stood on her feet 8 hours a day, when lots of other people would have retired 25 years ago. She doesn't need the work. She likes working with people. She likes speaking to people. She likes contributing. This is what society is supposed to be, not freeloading. What can I get for nothing? What can the government give me? Bear in mind, the stuff that the government give you when they're trying to get you on benefits by working 16 hours or whatever, it's because then it makes you dependent on them. Stand on your own 2 feet. So much of this mental health crisis we've currently got going on is because people have got no structure, because they're not getting up in the morning to go to work, to have a sense of achievement from having a long day's hard work. Of going, oh, I didn't know I could do that, but I can now, I've achieved it. I really don't understand how this can be so hard for people to understand.
Well, I'm afraid it is seemingly difficult for a lot of people to understand, James, and thank you for that, mate. I really appreciate that. I'm going to get James on the show before too long, and he's going to talk more about his campaign and what he's been experiencing during that campaign. But I think the overriding point of his message was what is happening to our country. We've got to protect our children. Now, talking about children, this video came up the other day. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but this really, really concerned me. Now, I can't verify the authenticity of this video 100%. Nobody can. I don't know where it's come from. I don't know the individual involved. You can only take it on face value, but unless they've taught this child to act, this video seems pretty bloody authentic to me. Let's have a listen to this. Hold on to your hats for this one.
Right, there's no script with this one, guys. This one's purely personal. So my son's dad collected him from school today because I've been feeling a little bit under the weather. Much to my surprise, he walks in the door and he says, "Mum, guess what I learned today?" I have blurred out my son's face for obvious reasons, but check this out.
Oh, I learned at school today.
What did you learn at school?
Do you know who's the God?
Do you want to know who God is? Yeah, God.
No, it's not God, it's Allah. And he created the whole entire earth. He created the grass, trees and food.
Right.
And the sky.
But what about God? Did you learn about God?
The God is Allah.
After he told me, I was a little bit in shock, and I said, "Come sit down and tell me again." Now, I don't know about you, but when I grew up, assemblies were filled with a bit of "Kumbaya, my lord," and he's got the whole world in his hands. So I patiently sat him down, him and his crazed knee from football, and told him that Allah is the name for God for people who follow Islam. So, yeah. When's the lesson on God?
Well, when is the lesson on Jesus, on the Christian God, etc.? Well, it makes you wonder what's going on at our schools. It makes you wonder what's being taught. But the biggest question that video leaves me with is, who is teaching the children this? I mean, if this isn't a particular a religious school as such, it's not a Catholic school or an Islamic school or a Christian school, a C of E school. Yes, okay, I've got no problem with encompassing all religions and finding out and learning about other religions. That can be a good thing as long as you're being told the truth about those other religions and the pros and the fors and against for all of those religions. But to come home and say what that little boy said there, something more in depth is going on, isn't it? That is either a Muslim themselves telling the children that, in which case they have no right to. Can you imagine if that was the other way around? Can you imagine if a little Muslim child had gone home to his parents and said, "Oh, Mum, Dad, Jesus is our Lord and our Saviour, and there's only one God, and this is his name"? There would be absolute uproar, and the teacher would probably be suspended and everything else that goes with it. So I just find that not only incredible, I find it really, really concerning. And this is what James, that I showed a minute ago, this is exactly the sort of thing that James is highlighting. Now, talking about that stuff and on that subject, you have to be very careful what you say on YouTube, unfortunately, these days. But of course, we recently saw this report: extremist Muslims given green light to take law into their own hands, warns campaigner after a man is spared jail for knife attack on protester who was burning the Quran. You can see the man featured there, who recently pretty much got off scot-free after attacking someone that he said had been burning the Quran. Let's have a little closer look at what actually took place. This is just a very brief look.
Look here, look. Don't put me. Oh, he's got a knife. He's got a knife as well. Oh, you got a knife, man. Come with the fucking idiot.
Now, I don't know what the hell's going on here. That is a shocking, disgraceful and alarming piece of footage. The man there looks to have been carrying a blade that is, 6-8 inches long, certainly big enough to kill someone. I'm lost for words. Can you imagine if that was someone on the right of politics attacking someone of a different faith? We all know what we're talking about, with a knife. Can you imagine the sentence that they would be subjected to? It'd probably be something like, 10 years minimum. But this man has walked away from that scene, that offence, scot-free. No prison time whatsoever. whatsoever. By stark contrast, we've had this story this week. Jail for bullish man who chanted, "Who the F is Alan?" during city centre riot. Now, we don't know what city centre riot that was. This is from Birmingham Live, Stoke-on-Trent Live. Look, I haven't heard of any riots up in that region recently. But nonetheless, look, these are words, offensive, yes, to some people. And I want to be clear on something. I've said this before. I've said this a number of times before. I don't believe in burning other people's religious books. I don't believe in chanting obscenities about someone else's God. Not because it's illegal, but because it's just offensive. And, you know, look, if I don't like to be offensive and I don't like to offend other people, it's not the sort of person I am, but it can't become illegal to offend someone. If it becomes illegal to merely hurt someone's feelings, then, you know, when Fulham are beaten next Saturday afternoon by whoever, I'm going to feel offended. Does that mean that the manager of the other team and all the players get pulled in by the police because I've been offended? I've had plenty of referees during football matches offend me, I can tell you, but they're not pulled in by the police after the match. Crazy analogy, but it's crazy times, right? Who decides on what's offensive? Who gets to decide what's offensive? And to be sent to jail for singing a silly song, well, it's beyond belief, beyond concerning. And again, if I go back to that young lady whose son came home from school with after clearly being indoctrinated with a religion that isn't necessarily conducive to his background and his beliefs and his family's beliefs, is that not offensive? Does that parent not have the right to be offended? And is that more serious? Is that more serious than someone running around the street with a knife?
Look here, look. Don't put me. Look, he's got a knife.
How offensive is that? Now, I find that very offensive. I don't know about you. And I find it extremely concerning. I don't know where we're heading with all this. You know, I don't want to keep talking about Islam, Muslims, etc., you know, because I like a lot of other people, I do believe the vast majority of these people just get on with their lives every day of the week. They want to live normally. However, the problem is that they need to step up to the plate alongside us. They need the good people need to unite with us and say that these things are wrong. I would think personally, I think it would be wrong for a Christian teacher to be teaching Muslim children something that they and their parents would not be happy with and do not agree with. And it's the same the other way around. We're prepared to stick up for them. Where are they when it's time to stick up for us? We need some help here, badly, before it does all go wrong. Let's move on to the wonderful Ed Davey. What a joker he is. The recent Lib Dems conference. I mean, I didn't even realise there was a Lib Dem conference anymore. I mean, if you want to see something as funny as that, I bet you better go along and see Jim Davidson. But let's have a little look at Ed Davey.
Gun laws are rolled back, so schools have to teach our children what.
He's talking about reform now and Nigel Farage, where gun laws are rolled back. Really, I very much doubt it, Ed, but don't let that stop you from scaremongering. But he's talking about gun laws. And let's have a little, we'll start again with that one. Sorry about that, I've interrupted him.
Where gun laws are rolled back, so schools have to teach our children what to do in case of a mass shooting. Trump's America, don't let it become Farage's Britain.
Where children have to practice lockdowns, etc., at schools because of potential mass shootings. Is he having an effing laugh? We all know the truth behind the school lockdowns, the practicing. One of my granddaughters has had 2, not practices either. The real thing, lockdowns, under the desk. And it is not because of a potential shooter, Mr. Davey. It is not because of an Indigenous Briton who happens to hold a shotgun certificate. He's running around the school playground like a nutcase. No, it is not. These lockdowns generally involve knives. These lockdowns generally involve people that are not Indigenous to this country, so I'm told. So I believe. So cut the bullshit, Ed Davey, if you can. You're full of it. Don't you dare preach to us. Don't you dare preach to the fantastic law-abiding firearms certificate holders that are in this country. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of licensed gun holders in the United Kingdom that do not commit a crime. Here's a challenge, Ed Davey. Here's a really good challenge for you. Check up when the last time a licensed firearms holder in the United Kingdom killed someone with their gun. Check it out. Check it out. Check the stats for the last 50 years. There's been 1 or 2 really bad incidents, admittedly. There has. Dunblane is one of them. Shocking, terrible. But to tar all of those people and to suggest that our schools are practicing lockdowns because Nigel Farage might relax gun laws a little bit is the world of fantasy land and fantasists. And I suggest, Mr. Davey, that you are indeed a fantasist. Oh dear, it drives me up the wall. Right, last one today is going to be Channel 4 and this little cracker. Yeah, we all recognise her, little left-wing Mooey, don't we? We've seen it enough over the years. Channel 4 suggested during their, well, I can only describe it as a hit piece about YouTubers, etc., and auditors. And at the end of the hit piece, and that's what I'm going to refer to it as, this delightful presenter said, and I quote, "And we contacted the brands whose ads were identified running alongside this content on YouTube and asked if they were aware of it." In other words, they're making a thinly veiled threat that you better be aware. If you don't get your ads removed, we're going to name and shame you. EasyJet responded saying they had strict criteria in place to ensure its ads don't run alongside content of this nature. Shame on you, EasyJet. Your ads are your ads. Everyone that watches videos on YouTube has the right to see your adverts, or are you just picking who you want on your flights these days? EasyJet went on and said that it was extremely disappointed that it had addressed it, and it had addressed this with its advertising partners to remove the advert. So EasyJet confirming that if you like watching auditors, if you want the real news, if you want to really know what's going on up and down the country, they don't want you on their planes. So there's one for the potential ban list, EasyJet. Be careful, EasyJet. Boots said it did not place the ad. Of course it hadn't. They just pay Google to run ads for them. But it had instructed the relevant brand to remove it. And another company didn't wish to comment. So Boots at it again. Virtual signaling again. Boots choosing who should and shouldn't be seeing their adverts. Maybe it's time that we stop shopping in Boots, or you stop shopping in Boots. Thankfully, we haven't got them out here in Spain, but if we did, I wouldn't be going in one. Remember that. Next time you're passing Boots, if you enjoy watching auditors, well, they don't want your money. It went on. She went on, this lady, and said, YouTube, owned by Google, told us that they don't allow content that promotes hatred, including based on immigration status, but that Anthony Barnes' AY audits material did not violate its policies. In other words, AY Audits videos are not promoting hatred. They are factual. It is real world. Whether you like him, his style, has nothing to do with it. He's not doing anything illegal, and he's not breaking any of the rules set, the strict rules set by YouTube and by Google. So what goddamn business is it of Channel 4s to be making themselves busy trying to get AY Audits demonetized, and other YouTubers along the way, no doubt, because trust me when I tell you, if they're successful with this one, they will come after us all. And the way that Channel 4 have decided to come after AY Audits and other YouTubers, no doubt, is by going through the back door and trying to take away their sponsors and their advertisers, etc. Demonetisation will be the next thing, is my guess. So let's have a little look at some of Channel 4's advertisers, because Channel 4 too can play your dirty, rotten game. Nicorette, Maltesers, Voltarol and Ronsil, 4 brands that regularly sponsor or advertise with Channel 4. They're on their website. I'll read them again. Nicorette, Maltesers, Voltarol and Ronsil, habitual supporters of a hard left so-called news station that is nothing less than a hard left activism news broadcasting station that is really the TV screen's equivalent of The Guardian. So I would suggest that you guys out there avoid Nicorette, Maltesers, Voltarol and Ronsil. And if any of those companies are watching, then, well, we won't be spending our money with your company all the time you're spending your money with Channel 4. And what we intend to do here is this is now going to go further, because I believe that Channel 4 has declared war on YouTubers and social media in general, and in particular the auditors and YouTubers like myself. They've declared war on us, and we will respond. So Channel 4, if you want to go after the people that make our channels possible, well, come after yours. Maybe our viewers should start emailing and writing to Nicorette, Maltesers, Voltarol and Ronsil and tell them that we don't agree with them giving money to hard left activists posing as journalists. Let's see how you feel when the tables are turned. And the problem that you have, Channel 4, is there are a lot more of us than there is of you. Nobody watches you anymore. Nobody cares about what you have to say. But we're not going to allow you to continue with your lies and your bias and your bullshit. So, you want to declare war on us? We'll return the compliment. All obviously nice and peaceful and politely and nice and gentlemanly. We are entitled to boycott Nicorette, Maltesers, Voltarol and Ronsil. We are entitled to tell all our family and friends not to use or to patronise these products. If you want to take our living away from us, we will return the compliment to you. And just before we go, there's another lesson to be learnt there by the hard left, by companies and organisations like Channel 4. Let me get her off the screen. I'll be having bloody nightmares. There's a lesson for these people this week, and you would have thought that they might have listened and learned a lesson with what's going on with Jeremy Newmark, or Jeremy Nomark as I call him, the council leader that recently described anyone that wants to raise the flag and the organisers as criminals and nonces and sex offenders. Well, his job isn't in the balance. Jeremy, your job is done for. You may as well resign and just cut the middleman out. You're not going to survive in your position, and I'm afraid the patriotic public are going to ensure that we keep following this and we keep insisting that you leave your position, that you either resign or you are fired for your absolutely disgraceful, disgusting and quite frankly, insightful comments aimed at decent, innocent patriots. You've apologised, but I'm afraid that is not good enough. We will keep going. The Daily Mail, the Daily Telegraph, Talk TV, GB News, they have all been on it. And I guess you are sitting there thinking that, well, I'll just sit tight and this will all go away. Well, I'm afraid to tell you, my friend, that it won't. Because we now have a list of about 5 people who intend to sue you for your comments. Oh yes, it's not looking good. Because these people that you've upset, they ain't going away. And they are going to be digging until they find things about you and your past. No doubt, we've already seen that there has been issues and alleged financial irregularities. So it's not going to end well, Councillor No Mark. I would say it's time to pack it in, go home and enjoy some retirement. Right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed that today. The show is called There Is Only One F in Freedom. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure that you do so. I would really appreciate it. And if you really want to support my channel, you can become a member. It is absolutely stinking cheap. I would really appreciate that as well, because like all YouTubers, we need to ensure that we can do this for a living. Like all YouTubers, we can't afford to do this for free. None of us. We have bills to pay. And these companies are coming after us and they are trying to demonetize us. If they succeed without your support, none of us will survive. None of us. Especially the smaller channels. So it's up to you guys out there watching right now. Support your independent channel, support your citizen journalists, support the YouTubers that are supporting you. And I'm not just talking about me now, I'm talking about every single one of them. Even if you're not that keen on them, £1 a month is not going to hurt anyone, but it can keep these channels alive. And I say those words on behalf of other YouTubers rather than myself. Right, guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I'll see you soon.